First at 6, a statewide commission has wrapped up its work on a growing threat to Maine landowners, deed fraud. Now, the I-team first started investigating after an elderly man never got his tax bill.
Now, after 2 years and hearing from several property owners who came close to losing their deed, we're seeing the state's first proposed solutions. Tonight, we're on your side with a look at Maine's next steps.
We could have lost our property.
2 summers ago, Cheryl and Ralph Nathanson learned their land on Little Sebago Lake had been put up for sale online.
We notified the police and they said, well, we'll take a report on it, but there's really nothing that they could do.
Police told them it's a classic case of deed fraud making the rounds in Maine. Scammers who pose as property owners list land they don't own and disappear with the cash. The Nathansons were told the only thing they could do was sign up for property alerts through the Cumberland County Registry of Deeds.
You can register for the deed fraud, but it only informs you by email after the deed has been transferred. So it's basically worthless.
And by the next summer, the real shock came.
I was notified by a neighbor that there was a for sale sign, a realtor for sale sign, on our land.
A realtor from Old Orchard Beach had put it there after entering an agreement with who she thought were Ralph and Cheryl to sell their land.
Some of the information was correct, some of it wasn't.
Right.
So, you can get anything off of Google.
One uncomfortable phone call later.
You were selling my property and I'm not selling the property. And the phone went silent.
Despite what they've been through, the Nathansons believe they're among the lucky ones.
Currently, you might all be landowners and your land might be at risk and you might not know right now that somebody has sold your land.
This fall, a state commission of stakeholders has been meeting to look at ways to prevent deed fraud in Maine.
You think the state should act beyond just awareness?
100%.
Absolutely. I think the state of Maine has a responsibility to protect landowners.
But inside those meetings, the Attorney General was reluctant to even call this a problem, claiming there isn't enough data.
What we're seeing for people getting hurt and losing money, this would probably not be the thing I'd want to highlight over other scams that are happening right now that are actually costing people their retirement savings.
During the meeting, I did hear the Attorney General essentially call this a non-issue.
Yeah.
Senator Henry Ingerson of York spearheaded this commission.
His office isn't getting complaints. He doesn't see a bunch of consumers losing money to this. Has that changed your stance?
We've had 3 that have really been highlighted, 2 or 3 that have really been highlighted just in southern Maine. We haven't heard a lot from around the rest of the state, but there has been some. So I think that even though it's rare, we really need to address it. I was pleased that we did come up with a couple of recommendations that we're gonna put in the report.
Starting with legally requiring the listing agent verify the identity of the seller.
I think it would prevent, even if it prevented one instance of deed fraud, I think that would be really helpful.
Should an agent fail to do their due diligence?
We didn't really specify what that identification process was going to be. We're leaving that up to rulemaking.
Another recommendation, make it easier for a landowner to get their property back if a fraudulent deed gets recorded. Right now, the only option is court.
Allow an attorney to file an affidavit with the deed recorder on behalf of the real property owner that would allow the deed to be the fraudulent deed to be nullified in a way that's a little bit quicker than we currently have.
The findings and recommendations are now in a draft report headed to the legislature's Judiciary Committee. Any action likely wouldn't come until 2027, if the recommendations even make it into a bill and then survive a vote.
I think we made some good progress, but I think this isn't going to go away. It's going to continue.
And as it does, landowners like the Nathansons fear without real protections in place, deed fraud will only grow worse in the state.
To lose land like this or to find out that their land is now gone, I just can't imagine that.
Some red flags to watch for in deed fraud include cash sales, land-only deals, and quick sales below market value. Now, the commission couldn't agree on several proposals, including a title freeze that's similar to a credit freeze for your deed. Maine could have been the first state to try it, but members said there wasn't enough information. Instead, they're looking to a national group also studying this. The Uniform Law Commission is now drafting model legislation that states, including Maine, could adopt to better protect landowners. And don't forget our I-Team. always on your side working to get answers that matter to you. If you have a story you would like us to investigate, just call the I-Team tip line at 228-7713 or email us at tips@wgme.com.